I don't think anyone wakes up in the morning and says, wow, I'd love to be drowning in debt, right? Most of the time, debt sneaks up on us. It's the credit card you swipe when your car breaks down, it's a medical bill you didn't plan for, or a student loan that were just part of getting through school. And before you know it, it feels like no matter how hard you work, that debt just hangs over your head like a cloud. If that's you right now, I want you to know that you're not lazy, you're not irresponsible, and you're definitely not alone. Millions of people are dealing with the exact same struggle. And the good news is, you can take control. Now, before we jump into the actual plan, let's pause for a second. Because if you don't have a strong reason for why you're paying off debt, it's way too easy to give up when things get tough. So let's start here. Ask yourself what your motivation is and why you want to pay off debt. What makes a difference is having the mindset before you have a plan you actually follow. What you don't want is a quick fix gimmick or a complicated system. What you do want is a realistic plan you can start today, but also clearly knowing the reasons why you're doing it. So today I'm going to walk you through a debt payoff plan, and it was the same process I used to pay off $91,000 of debt. All right. Once you're clear on your why you want to get out of debt, the next thing you need to do is the cold, hard facts. I know this part isn't fun, but trust me, you can't fix what you don't see. So start by looking at the numbers. Sit down with your bills and make a list of every single debt you have. Credit cards, student loans, personal loans, whatever it is. Write down the balance, the interest rate, and the minimum payment. When you put it all together in one place, suddenly things become clearer. So for example, maybe you got a $5,000 credit card at 22% interest rate, a $12,000 car loan at 6% rate, and a $30,000 in student loans at 5%. Seeing that breakdown might sting at first, but trust me, clarity is power. Once you see it, you can start building a plan. Once you've got everything laid out in front of you, now comes the part where you decide how you're going to attack your plan. And this is where people usually get stuck because there isn't just a one right way to do it. There is just the best way that will work for you and your circumstances. But let me walk you through two of the most common methods, the snowball method and the avalanche method. Some people like the snowball method because you go after the smallest debt first. It gives you a quick win and motivation. Others prefer the avalanche method, where you attack the debt with the highest interest rate first because it saves you the most money over time. So back to the example I just gave you. Let's say you chose the snowball method. You start with the $5,000 credit card just because it's the smallest debt. But if you choose the avalanche method, in this case, you still start with a credit card as well. But this time, it's because it's the highest interest rate. Neither method is wrong. What matters is picking the one that matches your personality and keeps you moving forward. Okay, so now you've chosen your strategy, and here's the catch. Your plan won't work if your budget doesn't support it. Think of your budget as the gas in your car. It keeps the whole thing moving forward. Take a look at your income and expenses and ask, where can I free up cash? Maybe you're spending $200 a month eating out. What if you cut that to $50 for now? That's $150 extra you can put towards your debt. Or maybe you got a subscription you don't really use, so cancel them. Even $10 here, $20 there, it adds up faster than you think. A good rule of thumb that I use for subscription is if I have not used the services for 3 months, then you'll be canceled. Because at this point, I'm just wasting money on something I either don't have time for or I have lost interest. Sometimes it helps to create what I call a bare bone budget. It's not a forever budget, but it's just a season to help you get momentum. And if you don't want to juggle all the numbers in your head, my step-by-step budgeting spreadsheet can make your life easier. The spreadsheet keeps track of all your balances, interest rate, and the progress all in one place. It can also calculate your payoff date to give you the extra motivation. That's how I kept myself motivated. I'm a visual learner, so I was able to literally see the numbers moving in the right direction. Now, here's where people either sink or swim. You can make the most beautiful budget and debt plan in the world. But if you don't actually track it, it will fall apart. One key piece of the puzzle is in making the process automatic. Let's be honest, willpower runs out. Life gets busy, emergencies pop up, and it's too easy to tell yourself, I'll skip the extra payment this month. The trick is to set up automatic payments so the money goes where it needs to before you even get a chance to spend it somewhere else. But make sure that at least your minimum payments are covered for all debts. Then set an automatic extra payment on whichever debt you're focusing on first. And here's the fun part. It's not all about restrictions and sacrifice. You've got to celebrate the wins along the way or you're going to burn out. Paying off debt takes time. It's not a sprint and it won't happen overnight. So if you don't take a moment to feel proud when you hit a milestone, you'll burn out. Maybe you can do your celebration every time you pay off $1,000 or each time you close an account. Do something small to reward yourself. For me, it was either getting a manicure or buying something new for my skincare routine. It was always something small enough that it wouldn't affect my budget, but it was also rewarding enough to feel motivated and have something to look forward to. I also loved updating my tracker every time I made a payment because watching that balance shrink gave me the motivation to keep going. Now, here's something a lot of people skip, and it's why so many people end up back in debt. You need a safety net. If you don't have at least a small emergency fund, every flat tire, every trip to the urgent care, every unexpected bill will land you back on a credit card. So before you go all in on debt payoff, set aside $500, $1,000 for emergencies, or make this number whatever is comfortable for your situation and your lifestyle. It doesn't have to be a lot, but enough to keep you from derailing your progress. In my case, because I have children, my initial emergency fund was $3,000. That was the number at the time I felt comfortable enough to have in case something came up as an emergency. And believe me, it did. So that amount prevented me from using my credit cards again. And as you keep going, remember this: consistency matters more than perfection. There will be months when life throws you curveballs. The car breaks down, the kids get sick, your hours get cut at work, and maybe you can't make as much progress that month. That doesn't mean you failed. It just means you adjust and then keep moving. Debt payoff isn't about getting it perfect. It's about not giving up. So when you put all of this together, your why, your numbers, your method, your budget, your tracking, and celebrating, you've got a debt payoff plan you can actually stick to. And the best part, this isn't about being perfect or doing what works for somebody else. It's about making progress with what you have at the current time. So let me wrap this up with some encouragement. You are more capable than you think. Debt doesn't define you. It's just a season of your life. And season changes. And you can do this. Start by writing down your debt. Decide how you'll tackle them. Build your budget. Make it automatic. And keep going no matter what life throws your way. And if you want a simple tool to keep everything organized without all the overwhelm, check out the step-by-step budgeting spreadsheet. I'll leave the link in the notes. It's the same system I used myself to get out of debt, and I still use it to this day. And it can give you the clarity, the motivation to stick with your plan. If this video encouraged you in any way, make sure to hit the subscribe button so you don't miss more tips like this. But more importantly, don't just watch. Take action. Even if it's something small today, your future self will thank you for it. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.